Hello, my name is Shane Rogers. Wow. Hello, my name is Alan Rogers, and this is a brief presentation of an action research proposal. Climate change is an urgent global issue that necessitates the integration of biomimicry, biodiversity, and biodiversity conservation into the K through 8 curriculum. These topics are essential for developing sustainable solutions, achieving science learning objectives, and promoting responsible global stewardship. This action research proposal aims to explore three strategies to enhance science learning on climate change: reflective practices, project based learning, and technology use. A mixed method case study was conducted with 24. It was. Hello, my name is Alan Rogers, and this is a brief presentation of an action research proposal. Climate change is an urgent global issue that necessitates the integration of biomimicry, biodiversity, and biodiversity conservation into the K through 8 curriculum. These topics are essential for developing sustainable solutions, achieving science learning objectives, and promoting responsible global stewardship. This action research proposal aims to explore three strategies to enhance science learning on climate change: reflective practices, project based learning, and the use of technology. This proposed mixed method case study would be conducted with 27 fifth grade students at Coronado Elementary School in Arizona and would be utilizing interviews, observations, and assessments. Data analysis would follow the guidelines for the National Assessment of Education Progress and Creswell's 5-step protocol. Expected outcomes include improved science learning and heightened engagement in global citizenship. Climate change represents a profound challenge for the planet, influencing the survival and well-being of all living organisms. Recent trends in the United States indicate a plateau or decline in elementary students' science learning objectives, which could exacerbate existing environmental concerns. To address this pressing issue, two key strategies are essential. First, the incorporation of environmental science courses such as biomimicry and biodiversity into K through 8 curriculum. It's imperative. Secondly, recognizing that climate change is a global phenomenon. It is crucial to bridge discussions of environmental science, educational outcomes, and global citizenship. The hypothesis is that integrating environmental science into the K through 8 curriculum by three appropriate and just teaching methodologies, the reflective practice, project-based learning, and the use of technology, will not only enhance students' science learning outcomes, but foster a sense of responsible global citizenship, ultimately contributing to mitigating the adverse effects of climate change. This inquiry presents a focused review of the literature connections between science and learning outcomes and global citizenship. Additionally, is the studies of environmental science courses, specifically in the context of biomimicry, biodiversity, and biodiversity conservation. The significance of the understanding of the relationships of environmental science courses, such as the three mentioned, and global citizenship is underscored by the research questions. Number one, how does the implementation of biomimicry, biodiversity, and biodiversity conservation into science curriculum affect students' science learning outcomes? Secondly, how does implementing environmental science courses, biomimicry, biodiversity, and biodiversity conservation into science curriculum affect students' perceptions of global citizenship? The site of the study will take place at Coronado Elementary School, which is a part of the Amphitheater School District in Tucson, Arizona. The participants include fifth grade science students from a diverse demographic and ethnic backgrounds. Before any student participation, written parental consent will be obtained in accordance with established research protocols. The participation in the study is optional, and on average, there are 27 students per class. The methodology of this proposed study, action research study, employs a mixed method approach characterized by the research active involvement. The methodology consists of two main parts. First, a comprehensive literature review addressing the inquiry's proposed and research purpose, and research questions, focusing on a peer-reviewed literature related to science learning outcomes, environmental science, and global citizenship. Key terms used for this would be biomimicry, biodiversity, and global citizenship. Secondly, a combination of qualitative data, collective methods, including face-to-face interviews, observations, and pre- and post-test written assessments, along with an additional quantitative method. Human research certification has been obtained to ensure the safety of vulnerable populations such as elementary school students. Structured protocols for interviews and observations will guide data collection with learning outcomes assessed through knowledge tests on relevant topics before and after the intervention. The study will take place over one academic year, utilizing resources from the National Center of Government Statistics to develop tests and interpret results. The literature review presented herein meticulously examines the impact of three specific instructional methodologies: reflective practices, project-based learning, and the integration of technology on science learning outcomes. It does so through the lens of environmental science courses, notably biomimicry, biodiversity, and biodiversity conservation. A fundamental understanding of these courses is critical to appreciate the rationale for this review. This comprehensive review is organized into two distinct sections. In the literature map displayed on this slide can be seen how the relative literature was organized by topic and relevant to the study. The first section delves into the existing literature regarding the three teaching methodologies, highlighting their effectiveness in enhancing learning and their sustainability for incorporating environmental science into core curriculum. This segment is not only discusses methodologies, but also aligns them with the objectives and focus of the purpose. The second section addresses the implications of integrating environmental science courses, articulating their potential influence on science learning outcomes and the broader impacts related to climate change. This includes an exploration of innovative and interdisciplinary approaches to problem solving, underscoring the relevance of such courses in fostering critical thinking and adaptive skills necessary for addressing contemporary environmental challenges. Reflective practices as a teaching method has proven effective in educational settings, helping students to prepare for future challenges. The 2019 study, Reflective Teaching as a Strategy for Effective Instruction, emphasizes that reflection is not only about revisiting experiences, but about learning from them to guide future behavior. The author states that the reflection is essential for developing critical thinking and equipping students for the necessary skills for the 21st century. Research on the integration of technology in education revealed mixed outcomes regarding its impact on student learning. A study by Li and Zhao identifies two key challenges that can hinder student engagement. First, the quality of technology and excessive screen time. They suggest that technology enhances learning when used in a course-specific manner, particularly in hands-on subjects like biomimicry and biodiversity. Advancements such as SEEK, which is an environmental interactive application, and iNaturalist.org facilitate meaningful learning and support cross-disciplinary education. Li and Zhao emphasize that integrating technology should aim to improve student learning. Project-based learning has become increasingly popular in science instruction, emphasizing experiential learning and highlighted by educator John Dewey. He argued for hands-on activities where learners actively participate, stating, quote, "The child is the starting point, the center, and the end," end quote. Research shows that project-based learning not only deepens understanding of scientific concepts, but it also creates a positive classroom environment, enhancing the rapport between students and teachers and increasing student enjoyment. Courses in environmental science, like biomimicry and biodiversity, align well with project-based learning methodologies. Global citizenship. In 2017, UNESCO released a report highlighting global challenges like climate change and the need for responsible global citizens. A 2024 study, Teaching Sustainability and Altruism Through Project-Based Learning, outlined a framework to foster sustainability citizenship from early childhood, empowering learners to engage with UN, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, in their communities. The qualitative research indicated that teachers felt more confident teaching sustainability projects after using this framework, which positively impacted their students. Teachers report a greater ability to connect curricula to societal issues and increased student engagement in addressing local to global challenges. The study emphasized that the necessity for a transformative educational approach to foster global citizenry. The integration of biomimicry with a transdisciplinary framework significantly contributes to establishing a foundation for global citizenry. A study titled Biomimicry, a Necessity, Economic, Ethic Dimension for Future Human Sustainability connects nature and education to promote global citizenship education, as outlined by UNESCO over the past decades. The authors link global citizenship education with nature's 9 principles of life, emphasizing the need to view biomimicry as a way to harmonize human systems with natural ecosystems. They propose defining global citizenship education metaphorically as a living structure that adapts and co-evolves with its environment. These proposals call for reconceptualization of schools and essential builders for future global citizens, urging the empowerment of all educational participants. The inquiry highlighted connections between biomimicry, global citizenship, human sustainability, and UNESCO's Sustainability Development Goals, culminating in the assertion that anticipating the future is essential to be prepared for. Biodiversity is important. There was also a 2025 study, A Forest Path Towards Education and Global Citizenship, that highlighted connections between environmental education, such as biomimicry and biodiversity, and global citizenship. It emphasized that while environmental science and global citizenship education are complementary, they are often treated as separate fields. The study advocated for localization of biodiversity education, asserting that understanding community values and specific environments is critical for addressing global issues. As the authors stated, quote, biodiversity must be explored in its specific locations, end quote, to foster a deeper understanding of environmental challenges. The same study also explored the link between biodiversity conservation and responsible global citizenship. Participants engaged in conservation activities to enhance students' connection to nature. The author proposed that timeless education could drive cultural change and promote global citizenship. The data collection in this evaluation of the science learning outcomes from the intervention will use both quantitative and qualitative data, including multiple sets for a comprehensive understanding of participants' experiences. Semi-structured interviews will be conducted before and after the intervention to capture educational metrics and subjective experiences to the study. Written testing will occur before and after the intervention using questions from reputable sources, including the National Center for Educational Statistics, the National Report Card questions tool. This tool helps create tailored assessments across categories like life sciences and physical sciences. Participants will take a written pretest to establish a baseline in biomimicry, biodiversity conservation, and global citizenship. A post-test will follow the intervention to evaluate changes in learning outcomes related to the study's objectives. Data evaluation will address validity, referencing the Creswell and Creswell's framework. The observation protocol is structured to encompass the outdoor environment, which is where the observations will occur. To ensure comprehensive data collection, structured field notes, which are pictured here, will be utilized to document participant responses related to the research topics and questions. Employing field notes enhances the reliability and validity of the gathered data, minimizing bias through consistent and systematic observation. Ultimately, a structured approach to data collection facilitates the interpretation and analysis of the observational data, contributing to the robustness of the research findings. To ensure the validity of our assessment tools, we will analyze the data based on Creswell and Creswell's principles regarding score validity, focusing on content validity, predictive validity, and construct validity. Construct validity, we will assess whether the test items accurately measure the intended content. The predicted validity, we will evaluate if the test scores can predict relevant outcomes. And construct validity, we will determine if the items measured the hypothetical constructs that they are designed to evaluate. Through this approach, we will help ensure the reliability and relevance of our findings. The study will analyze qualitative and quantitative data separately before integrating them to support the research questions. Data analysis will follow a triangulation design for qualitative research and a construct design for quantitative research, ensuring equal priority for both types of data. Validity and reliability will be addressed through the analysis process by triangulating different data sources. As noted by Creswell and Creswell, this approach enhances the study's validity by providing a coherent justification for identified themes. The literature review focused on quality and relevance, evaluating scores using Creswell and Clark's rating scales from Under Research, a Consumer's Guide. The rating scale template for the mixed method literature has been sourced and was very valuable in justifying and appropriating all literature. The pre and post test to assess science learning outcomes will adhere to proper research protocols using the IBM SPSS statistics for quantitative data analysis. This analysis will include descriptive and inferential methods such as t-tests to examine pre and post knowledge differences in biomimicry, biodiversity conservation, and global citizenship. The challenge of climate change is unequivocal. To mitigate its effects, it is essential to incorporate biomimicry, biodiversity, and biodiversity conservation into K-8 curriculum. These elements provide a foundation for developing sustainable, environmentally responsible solutions while enhancing educational outcomes. Integrating environmental science into core curriculum is critical for equipping students with the skills necessary for effective conservation, eco-friendly problem solving, and global citizenry. Thank you.